It might surprise some people, but behind the formal title of king, Charles has been quietly writing one of the most personal and emotional chapters of his life as a grandfather. His relationship with his grandchildren has shown a much softer side of him, one that many in the public have rarely seen. It's a side filled with warmth, affection, and a deep desire to connect. But as this bond grows stronger, it also brings some quiet tensions inside the royal household, especially when it comes to Queen Camilla, who watches everything with mixed emotions. What's going on behind those palace walls is far more emotional than anyone expected, and it's changing the way people see King Charles entirely. In recent years, people close to the king have noticed something new in his routine. His calendar, usually packed with official events and meetings, now includes more time set aside for visits with his grandchildren. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, children of Prince William and Princess Kate, have become a bright spot in his life. Even more, there's quiet hope that Prince Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, might one day join these family moments too. That hope isn't just about reconciliation between brothers. It's about giving all the grandchildren a chance to grow up with their grandfather's presence. It's not just about spending time together. The changes are visible in the physical space around King Charles. Inside Windsor Castle, a formal room once used for high-level meetings has been turned into something completely different. It's now a cozy area filled with children's books, drawing tools, and soft cushions, a space meant for laughter, learning, and play. That kind of shift in environment says a lot. It shows a man who isn't just holding on to duty, but someone who wants to pass on care and creativity to the younger generation. In his private study, something else stands out: photos of all 5 grandchildren, not hidden in a drawer or tucked away in a corner. These photos are placed where the king can see them every single day. He looks at them often, sometimes smiling at a crayon drawing or pausing to admire a school project one of them made. These small gestures might not seem like much to outsiders, but they tell a story of someone who truly values family, even in the middle of his royal responsibilities. Among all the grandchildren, there's one who seems to hold a particularly special place in his heart: Princess Charlotte. Their connection is noticeable. They both share a love for nature and art, and their conversations are often filled with talk about flowers, birds, and watercolors. It's during these times that the king's face lights up in a way that's rare for public appearances. The formality fades, and what's left is a grandfather simply enjoying a quiet moment with someone he truly understands. While these sweet moments mean a lot to King Charles, not everyone views them the same way. Queen Camilla, always composed and focused on keeping the royal image in place, watches with a mix of admiration and concern. She appreciates the importance of family, but she also believes in maintaining the royal structure. Her style with the grandchildren is more formal, more reserved, and as Charles becomes more involved, especially with Charlotte, it creates a subtle tension between the two. It's not about open conflict. It's about different views on how close is too close, and how much emotion should show behind palace doors. King Charles hasn't just created space for the children physically, he's started building traditions with them too. During family holidays at Balmoral, he takes the children on early morning walks, pointing out birds, explaining the types of trees, and sharing stories about the land. These are the same hills and paths he walked as a boy. Now, he's sharing them with the next generation. In the palace kitchen, staff have noticed that snacks are often planned ahead for the kids, some of them even arranged by the king himself. It's a quiet but clear sign of how much he cares. There was one day during a family gathering that truly stood out. Prince Louis was building a wooden tower and couldn't decide on a final design. Most adults would have lost patience after 10 minutes. But not King Charles. He sat beside Louis for nearly an hour, carefully helping and adjusting the blocks as the child's ideas kept changing. Even when his team reminded him of pending meetings, he waved them off. That moment, captured quietly by those nearby, said more about the king's priorities than any speech ever could. On birthdays and special days, King Charles writes personal letters to each grandchild. These aren't short, formal notes, they're thoughtful, handwritten messages, full of encouragement and references to the children's recent activities. Whether it's a school play, a new hobby, or something they've learned, the king makes sure to include details that show he's paying attention. That effort doesn't go unnoticed, and it means the world to the children. Charlotte, especially, has started to shine more in the public eye. Her calm behavior during royal events, her careful attention to her younger brother, and her natural confidence have all caught the attention of royal watchers. But inside the palace, there's someone watching her even more closely, her grandfather. King Charles sees something rare in Charlotte, a mix of elegance from her mother Kate, a strong sense of responsibility from her father William, and a bit of the bold, independent spirit that once defined Princess Diana. That comparison alone brings a wave of emotion for Charles. It reminds him of someone he lost but still feels connected to through this young girl. The king's conversations with Charlotte have started to move beyond simple topics. She's curious about royal history, traditions, and the people who came before her. Instead of handing her a book, Charles takes time to sit with her and tell stories. Real ones. Personal ones. The kind you don't find in history lessons. These moments aren't just educational, they're bonding. And they're shaping how Charlotte sees her future in the royal family. But not all is smooth behind the scenes. Queen Camilla, though proud of her husband's devotion, has started to feel left out. The growing bond between Charles and Charlotte makes her uneasy, especially when she hears comparisons to Diana. That discomfort became more serious the day she found a private note in the king's study titled, "For Charlotte, My Wishes and Hopes." Charles hadn't mentioned it, and when she asked about it, he avoided the topic. That silence made her feel like she was being shut out of something important. Camilla also overheard a conversation between the king and his private secretary, something about Charlotte's future. But as soon as she entered the room, the topic changed. When she later asked simple questions about Charlotte's upcoming birthday, Charles gave vague answers. All of this stirred up a mix of emotions in Camilla: confusion, sadness, and the sense that her role was shifting in ways she couldn't quite control. The quiet tension has begun to show in small ways. Staff who used to consult Camilla now go directly to others when it involves William and Kate's children. Decisions are being made without her input. For someone who's always worked behind the scenes to support the monarchy, this change feels unsettling. It's not about losing power. It's about feeling unseen in a family that's slowly redefining itself. Even in her day-to-day life, Camilla seems more distracted. She's unsure about details she once handled with ease. One day, she spent nearly half an hour picking a dress, only to change it last minute. When an old friend visited, Camilla finally opened up. She admitted that she felt out of place, like she was being pushed aside as the next generation rose to the forefront. Her voice was calm, but the pain was real. Despite everything, King Charles stays committed to this new path he's creating. He continues to teach, share, and show love in quiet, meaningful ways. With Charlotte, he's especially focused on helping her understand the deeper side of leadership. Not just titles and duties, but the importance of kindness, creativity, and emotional strength. It's his way of preparing her, not just for the spotlight, but for the weight that comes with it. This approach is more intense than what William and Kate prefer. They want their children to have a more balanced, grounded upbringing. Charles, however, sees it differently. He believes in guiding Charlotte more directly, nurturing her skills, and helping her grow into a strong, compassionate leader. It's not always in sync with her parents' approach, but it comes from a place of care and belief in her potential. What's happening now within the royal family isn't just about one man or one child. It's about legacy. King Charles isn't just thinking about his own reign. He's thinking about the future and what kind of family and world he'll leave behind. His bond with Charlotte and the time he gives to all his grandchildren shows a king who understands the power of presence. Not just in public appearances, but in bedtime stories, walks through the garden, and handwritten letters that say, "I see you and I care." Behind palace walls, this story continues to unfold. A grandfather finds purpose in the eyes of his grandchildren. A queen searches for balance in a shifting family dynamic. And a young girl grows up with the guidance of a king who sees in her something truly special. As the royal household changes, one thing remains clear. Some of the most powerful moments in King Charles's life aren't happening in grand ceremonies, but in the quiet spaces where love, learning, and legacy meet. If this story moved you, or if you have thoughts on the evolving royal family, make sure to leave a comment. What do you think about